Welcome everybody, Steve here. Today we're going to take a look at this 1983 Porsche 911. Now, this is a real cool car. It's been one of my dream cars for a long time. Unfortunately, it's not mine. I turned an 85 down 20 years ago for $15,000, and now I'm really kicking myself because, yeah, these are quite expensive, but they're worth it because in my opinion, I think is one of the nicest cars that's ever been built. So let's take a little closer look. This one here is a gray, and if you watched my videos, I did the repair on the deck lid on this a couple winters ago. So you might want to go back and check that out. But a lot of features in this car, so let's take a look. All right, for all you serious ones out there, this is a slate gray, and is the same color as Steve McQueen's car when he did Le Mans back in the 70s. So if it's good enough for Steve McQueen, it's good enough for this one. So we upgraded. I actually did a little bit of work on this car and helped my buddy out. We had to do a little bit of work, but we got the LED upgrades on the headlights. Well worth it if you want to see where you're going. I got the little dog with me here. And on this one here, you can tell that it's got the flares. Now that's not stock, but these flares have been added. They're steel flares. They're not just a cheapy fiberglass kit that you buy. And whoever put them on did an absolute beautiful job. I've had this up on the hoist. I've looked at it, and somebody really knew what they were doing when they did this. So let's take a look at the tires. Well, the rims on this one happen to be an Italian rim, Campagnolo, and you know, you've seen these on quite a few Porsches I have anyway. It's a really nice rim, and it just seems like it's a fitting rim for the car. Now you can see here on the back, the flare is just a little bit wider. Kind of looks like the flare on the turbo, and once again they did a beautiful job. This one's been done for years, and there's no cracking, there's no evidence of anything going wrong with it. So nice job, really fits the car. It gives you a chance to put a little wider tire in the back, widen that stance, and you're cooler for it. So if you're thinking about doing it, it's worth it. It really does look good. So the deck lid on this, it's an aftermarket deck lid. It's fiberglass, so I guess they call this a whale tail. Not sure, but it's, you know, unlike the traditional big spoiler that they would have on there. I think the Porsche turbos had them. Not too sure, but you know, this thing still doesn't fit perfect. You know, they think, you know, if it was made for a Porsche, it would maybe be a little bit better, but it still fits pretty good. And it looks good. It matches the car, you know, because we got the wider flares, it kind of matches that look. So these aren't that cheap either. So if you're looking to upgrade on your Porsche, it looks good, but yeah, you might have to fight with it a little bit to make it fit just the way you want it to. All right, as you can see, this one sports the factory sunroof in here. And definitely one of those options you should be looking for if you really want a nice little vehicle. Up here in Canada, we really like the hardtop. We don't want to have to go with a convertible, and because we just don't have that many days where you can actually drive a convertible. All right, here's what I like about Porsche. They got a really cool engine. Now, this one here is still an air-cooled engine, and I think that's what makes this car, you know, kind of a collector. You know, there's, you know, every year there's less and less of them out there because someone crashes them and then they're done. Or these ones here are quite notorious for rusting out. So they eventually ended up parts vehicles or made into something else. This particular car, okay, so this is an 83. Originally it came with a 3.0 liter, and this one here is a 3.2 out of an 84. So it's got a little bit of an engine upgrade, and some of the wiring is a little different. I helped out with some of the wiring on this car, and funny enough, it's quite like a Beetle. Pretty cool. Anyway, looks good, nice and clean, nothing fancy, just a good stock engine. Pretty stock underneath here. Spare tire. I don't know if you wanted to go do any racing with this, but I'm surprised that they don't have a regular size. Now, one of the nice things about this is it has a vacuum assist braking system, and you have to have that on a car like this. You know, you're doing 120 miles an hour, you want to be able to stop. So that's key. Make sure you have that. Older ones, I think, are just manual, like the real old ones. Be just like a Beetle. Nothing fancy underneath here. Just plain and simple, nice and stock. So, interior, my buddy wanted it to look a little bit cleaner, a little less. These are an aftermarket seat. Got the houndstooth pattern on them. Not sure of the make, but anyway, nice feature. Fairly tight. If you're 250 pounds plus, it's a little tough getting into this one. But he's done other modifications in here, so let's just take a quick little look. So this gives the car a little sportier look on the inside. It's a Renline kit. We got pedals and floorboards, and just gives it that little bit of a race feel to it. Nice setup. Really looks good. Shifter. It's been upgraded. It's got a cool little knob on there. So just little subtle things. So some upgrades here on just simple upgrades. We got a Momo steering wheel, beautiful steering wheel, leather, and surprisingly the price on this is, I think it's less than the steering wheel that I bought for my 71 Chevy. Now the gauges are all the same, but the dash has been changed. It's more of a 70s style dash, nice and simple, and the glove box on this has been eliminated. So it just gives you that rally feeling when it's a little bit simpler. So one thing we didn't mention is the door cards have been simplified a little bit, and they're just basically an RS door card, modeled after a Porsche in the 70s, an RS Porsche, which is very rare. And it just keeps everything a little bit more simple, nice and clean. Less is better. So even with all the modifications, brakes and everything like that on this are fairly stock. You know, this isn't a race car. This is just a fun one to drive on the weekends and on nice days. And this year we've had a lot of nice days. So it's been nice, you know, my friend's been able to get out a few times, and that's what it's all about. When you own something like this, drive it. Don't leave it in your garage. Yeah, it actually looked better in my garage. Got a simple little sport mirror on there. You actually have to put your hand outside the window and adjust it. I know. And you can see there's where your fuel filler station is. Yeah, beautiful clean lines. Sounds good. Well, it's undeniable that this is still one of the most iconic cars that has ever been built on the planet Earth. And you know, nowadays the technology, you know, they've got electric. They're still an absolute beautiful car, and well worth the money if you're looking in that range for a really nice sports car. This one is a classic. They're becoming more popular and harder to find. You know, back in the day, there used to be these things everywhere. And who would have thought they would come to this point where now they're just a rare collector's item. Beautiful little car, and they're really, really fun to drive. I hope someday, if you know, I've been fortunate that I've been able to go for a drive in this, and there's just a thrill when you get into a car like this. So thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Cool Cars, and there is no doubt this is a cool car. Don't know what I'm going to bring you next time, but it'll be cool as well. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned.